Thank you, Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros. River of Love. I'm a sneeze, as I do practically every morning.
Bless you.
Seriously. If I could, I would love to go through the 550 something, 2 of these maybe, that I've done, and see how many times I've sneezed. I guarantee it's in the 500s. And that is not a money-back guarantee. Let's get into some meditation, shall we? The answer is yes. Psalm 103:11. For as high as the heavens are above the earth, so great is his loving kindness towards those who fear him. Now, for those of y'all who don't read the Bible much, A, you're missing out. B, this whole fear thing, let me just jog into this in case I haven't previously, because it is not fear in the conventional sense that we think of, like horror movies or, oh gosh, I'm really afraid of heights. It involves some aspects of that, but I definitely think of fear when you're fearing God as a whom then shall I fear, like the way in which we pursue fear in pretty much all that we do, right? I mean, most of what we do in terms of exercise or eating right, I mean, some of it just because we want to feel good, but a lot of it is definitely fueled by that fear of death that motivates most of what we do on this planet. Most of the wars we fight are because we're afraid to die or have people around us get hurt and die. A lot of these fears are foolish, but we are constantly afraid. We are constantly afraid. We're afraid of being alone. We're afraid of being rejected. Pretty much, again, all advertising is built on plying on your fears and therefore being like, here's the balm against your fear. Those fears are starting to get at it in terms of the fear of God is basically to be motivated, to be honoring, respectful, and to indeed have a fear of the disapproval of God. And this is the way in which he's often called God the Father, and this is why I think it often plays out that way. Now, God does not have a penis. God does not have a vagina. And you're like, yeah, have you ever seen him? Maybe he has both. You know what? Maybe he does. But I do not believe that God has a gender. He's been referred to as he, and he is indeed, in some way, he is the father of all mankind. Some of that is metaphorical. Some of that may have some literalisms. But he created mankind out of himself. He created men, male and female, out of himself, out of his own whimsy, his own imagination, his own essence-ness. But there is something certainly paternal, fatherly, about God, and I feel like it factors into this whole fear thing, and this loving kindness thing. Fear in that, like, the withering glare of a mother is certainly one thing to instill fear, but there's something in God that is obviously there's something slightly aloof about him, and that he's much more of the toss you into the pool of life and teach you how to swim, which seems more dad-like to me for some reason. Maybe you have dads that weren't like that. And even in this loving kindness and fear thing, and that he is a little bit he can be this slightly ominous figure, right? I mean, he's like created everything. He put us into this pilgrimage of flesh thing, in which he was like, oh, you want self-governance. And now, whether that occurred with like a literal Adam and Eve, or whether that's pseudo-metaphorical as well, I don't freaking know. But I know, for a fact, by watching people around me and watching my own instincts, that I live Adam and Eve's journey in my own life all the time. And everyone I know does the same thing. We all choose it. You know, because sometimes you get unfair. You're like, well, that's not fair. We suffer for one person's blah, blah, blah. We do the blah, blah, blah every day. We blah, blah, blah every day, all the time. If you watch little babies, they're exactly the same. They're constantly trying to govern their own lives. And we're little babies still. I mean, let's think about it, right? It's a God who created the whole entire universe. However long ago he did it. Let's not argue about that. Who cares? Really? Who cares? Does it affect my life? Does it affect your life? Absolutely not. It's debating minutia. So debate it all you want. I mean, sure, I like Jeopardy too. Yes, I got RT to laugh in the kitchen behind me. Woo! Which, of course, totally made me lose my train of thought. We're Adam and Eve all the time. We constantly go, yes, I would like the knowledge of good and evil. I want to know what's good and what's bad, because then the stuff that's bad is going to make me even more excited. And God's like, well, here's the way now. Even though you've chosen self-governance, I love you too much as your dad, so here's the book of life. Here's how, here's my story. I mean, the Bible is not like so much just like a self-help thing, but there are aspects to it that are, you could go ahead and call self-helpy if you'd like. Mostly, this book is kind of a story. Now, I like fiction, not a big fan of nonfiction. This is probably the only nonfiction book I read on a regular basis. Well, you know, Profession of the Madman and...
Stay on track, babe.
Oh, it's supposed to stay on track. Track. I was never a runner in school. I've never been a long-distance runner at all. You know, because I get shin splints. So I've never done track. Yeah? I'm enjoying this morning. This is a story of God's interaction with humankind. We chose, hey, self-governance. Hey, God, we don't need you. God's like, oh, interesting. Just like a dad. Oh, interesting, you don't need me. All right, see you in 20 minutes. You need a tow. Or you need to drive home because you're drunk. This is God's interaction with our drunk asses throughout history until and establishing covenants with humanity and indeed reaching out to us with fatherly concern and fatherly advice and indeed being such a dad as to like jump and take the bullet that would take us out for all eternity. So this is where fear comes in, because you're like, holy cow, he would do all that for me? To then not honor and respect like this holy, perfect Father who not only made you, but then lets you go out and fail on your own, but then still says, you know what, I call you to love me. I call you to love me because I love you, and I will reach out to you again and again and again until it's like intervention time, and you know what, you've burned enough bridges that he's like, you know what, you can't call me anymore. If you want to live, then I've given my life for you. I've given everything for you. And you still want to reject me, then eventually I have to, you know what, I have to cut you off because I'm not doing you any good. Constantly offering you love and love and love when you're choosing yourself and you're choosing the world. So he's a good papa, but he's not a papa you really want to piss off. Why would you? He's offered nothing but extensions of love over and over and over again, and carved out a place for those that fear him. Not tremble in fear, but bow in fear and dance in fear and live in joyful respect, humble adoration, giddy, silly joy if you need to, and serious pursuit. It's both. Happy Father's Day, God. I love you very much. Thank you for loving me. I will try to stop being so foolish as to think I got it. It is your wheel. Take it. I'll be in the wheelhouse. Peace be unto you. Amen and Selah.